This is Unlearning Internal Ableism by Zebra Support Network. I have several accommodations, including visual descriptions, captions, sensory safe space, reducing background noise, no triggers, and large text. So a little bit about me. When I first started to need mobility aids, I was so ashamed that I would hide my aids whenever guests would come over. I used to never mention my illness for fear of judgment, and I, for many years, believed that my condition was fake because of others telling me that. I used to be ashamed of needing medication and treatment, and I would try to push through pain to the point of injury. If you're interested in my other workshops, they're on Live Well with EDS on YouTube, and you can also follow Zebra Support Network on Eventbrite for more events. Here is an image with a peach background that says, the disability community needs to talk about our internalized ableism. The list of topics. What is internalized ableism? How does somebody become internally ableist? What are the impacts of internal ableism? What internalized ableism makes you do? How to unlearn internal ableism? How to challenge internal ableism? Turning a shame to pride, and then a support group. So here is a graphic about internalized ableism. Because a practice where disabled people internalize the discriminatory ideas and prejudices from our ableist culture and society. This may result in feelings of inferiority, being lesser, and feeling like you aren't entitled to certain things due to your disability. Thinking you should lower your relationship standards because who would want to be with somebody disabled? I definitely do that. And not asking for accommodations you're entitled to not bother someone or feel like a burden. I've also done that. So what is internal ableism? A system of thought in which one internalized ableist beliefs. A system of behavior in which one puts the comfort of able people over their own well-being. Shame around using medical treatment and mobility aids. Using phrases and words that are ableist. Not understanding the negative impact ableism has, downplaying and excusing your own ableism towards other disabled people. Here is a series of graphics about ableism. Ableism is ingrained in society, meaning we're raised surrounded by these beliefs, misconceptions, and prejudices. So it's no wonder we often internalize this ableism. When we start to look at examples of ableism, we can see what a huge negative impact it has on disabled people's lives. So many of our daily struggles are magnified by ableism, and our perceptions of self-worth as disabled people are often influenced by it too. We all have limitations placed on our lives by our illness or disability, but we also have unique qualities that make us exceptional humans. These ableist benchmarks of success completely ignore this diversity and undervalue the incredible gifts we have to offer society. We are a diverse, incredible bunch of people, and we deserve to feel worthy. We do not deserve to be hidden away. We do not deserve to be treated like we are a burden. We do not deserve to be left behind. We deserve nothing but love, access, and respect for being such resilient and exceptional humans. We deserve happiness. How do you become ableist internally? Having an extra emotional incident with ableism, encountering ableism from people you trust and believe. Encountering ableism so many times you are gaslighted into believing ableist ideas, being raised on ableist values and beliefs, never being exposed to anti-ableist ideas. Here's an image with a blue background that says internalized ableism comes from ourselves when we start believing what society is telling us. The impacts of internal ableism. Why do I still hate myself? There are many impacts on the mental and physical health of the person who believes the thought system of ableist ideas. Here's a quote by Nyaminga. Ableism is attached to all of our struggles because it undergirds notions of whose bodies are desirable, worthy, and disposable. Internalized ableism. I'm not disabled. So, yeah, like another common thing is just believing we are not disabled. That definitely happened to me a lot, especially since I have a rare condition and heard from people that I trusted that my condition was fake. So internalized ableism makes you not just believe certain things, but also act in certain ways, both in how you treat yourself and others. You treat others with disabilities in an ableist way. You neglect your own health needs and overwork yourself. You don't discuss or disclose your disability. You don't ask for your accessibility needs or use your mobility aids when you need them. You may believe that you're faking your condition and try to fit in with the idea of what an able-bodied person is. You may push past pain to the point of injury or hospitalization and act for able-bodied people's comfort instead of your own. Internalized ableism can make us feel unworthy of love, support, work, school, relationships, pets, friends, and a purpose in life. So here was a survey of 857 people with chronic pain. The question was, do you endure pain in public because you worry that people might think you complain too much? 88% said yes and 12% said no, which is, I mean, I would say that it's a shocking number, but it's really not when you've experienced ableism and you've been told that you talk too much about your pain or that you're just complaining for even mentioning pain. And then, you know, here is a graphic talking about seeing if a certain phrase or word is ableism. So number one, is it a word associated with disability or illness? Number two, am I using it to denote something negative? Number three, am I in a position to reclaim the word? Number four, am I using the word in a way to reclaim it? So this is a graphic of a woman with a weight on her back that says chronic illness. And the text next to it says, you are not a burden, you have a burden, which is one of my favorite quotes about chronic illness. So this whole section is about unlearning and then challenging ableism. Understand that others invalidating your disability doesn't take away your diagnosis. Recognize it's easy to be gaslit by people in power like doctors. So when they say ableist things, it can leave deep wounds. Validate yourself. An invisible illness is not an imaginary illness. A rare disability is not a made-up disability. Be mindful of how you feel when you're using medication and mobility aids. If you feel shame and guilt, you have internalized the ableism of others and are taking it out on yourself. Don't beat yourself up for feeling these ways either. Society is ableist, and we learn from society. It makes sense we would pick up ableism from it. Build a supportive, validating, and respectful support network. Everybody, even healthy people, have limitations, and we cannot go past them without hurting ourselves. It's natural some people have more limitations than others, but that doesn't mean something is wrong with you or that you don't deserve love. If you think you need a cure to be happy, you definitely have internalized the idea disability is inherently a bad and negative thing, and it's not. It's just a different state of being. Questioning stereotypes about disability can jumpstart high-level discussions, and pave the way to question harmful stereotypes about other marginalized groups. Internalized ableism is very real, but by relentlessly choosing to believe in your inherent worth, you can overcome it. So here is a graphic that says, ableism is ugly and it hurts, sometimes deeply. Acceptance helps with healing the wound. So I've categorized a few ways to help heal from internal ableism. Find social support. Join a disability or chronic illness support group. You can learn a lot and have a safe space to process your emotions. Validate yourself. When others invalidate you, validate yourself with chronic illness mantras. Make your own or find some online. Don't assume your limitations. Find the ability in disability. Don't assume what you cannot do and try before you give up. Here is a graphic with a storm cloud and stars that says, I am not a burden. Roadblocks to recovery, both physically and mentally. Lack of medical care and apathetic doctors. Internalized ableism causing you to believe you don't deserve recovery. Hopelessness, lack of education, resources, and support. An ableist environment. Comorbidities, insurance denying what you need, medical debt, or depression and anxiety. We need to start recognizing ableism as the serious issue it is. Preventing internal ableism. Adopt an anti-ableist attitude. Recognize and challenge ableism in yourself and others. Recognize the validity in your unique experience and those of others with disabilities. Counter ableist thoughts and beliefs from yourself and others. Create an environment of accessibility and acceptance. Find and build a supportive community for yourself and others. Finding disability pride is also very important. So I have found several techniques to go from ashamed to empowered. So usually you start out ashamed of your limitations. You internalize the ableism you experience, which makes your mental health suffer and causes you to neglect your health. You're then aware of validity. You start to realize your conditions are valid. You're doing your best and there is nothing to be ashamed of. You then embrace who you are. If you start to unlearn ableism, you begin to let yourself embrace who you are and chase your dreams regardless of your chronic pain. Then you become empowered in pain. You turn your negative experiences into positive change and turn shame into pride with the techniques I will teach you. So another study showed that only 24% of college students with disabilities disclose their disability. The reason, shame and fear of being perceived as lazy or unintelligent. So here's my technique of turning shame into pride. Take something you are ashamed of and reflect on it. Consider how much you struggle with this specific issue. Instead of being ashamed of the fact that you have a struggle, feel proud that you fight to change it. Be proud that you sustained an effort to change or improve your life instead of mourning the fact that you've struggled with this for so long. Instead of focusing on the outcome, focus on how much effort and willpower you gave to push through the pain. Instead of being ashamed of the fact that you have an issue, be proud that you're doing anything to change it. Here's an example. I'm ashamed of being in pain for so long. It must be my fault or because I'm lazy. My pain levels are very high, but I still get a lot done. That's a reason to be proud, not ashamed. I am proud if all that I do well in a lot of pain. That's a big accomplishment, even if it doesn't seem like much. I am proud that I'm so accomplished while in so much pain. I'm doing my best, even on bad days when I need rest. Being disabled and proud is very, very important. It lets you be yourself and recognize the ability and disability. Being disabled doesn't mean that you're not desirable or not beautiful. And here's a graphic of somebody with crutches throwing away shame and reclaiming pleasure. Here are some questions to reflect on when considering how internalized ableism has impacted you. What ableist ideas do I perpetuate? Do I believe that getting treatment is a sign of weakness? Do I think disabled people are and deserve less than able people? Do I believe myself and other disabled people are a burden? Am I afraid to ask for help because I feel high maintenance? Do I have an anti-ableist attitude? Has ableism changed how I view myself, my condition, and my mobility aids? Do I believe I'm less desirable or less pretty due to my disability or medical device? And then here are some key points. Internalized ableism is caused by experiencing repeated or very intense ableism. It is a thought and belief pattern. Internal ableism can make you treat other disabled people poorly and causes shame and guilt over medically necessary things. You encourage yourself and others to push through the pain. You believe disabled people deserve less than able people. You put the comfort of able people above your own health. Challenging thoughts that are ableist helps reduce this, as well as having an anti-ableist attitude. Turning shame into pride also helps undo the shame of ableism. Reaching out and creating a supportive environment helps you and others. My next workshop is tomorrow at 2 p.m. and it's called Empowered in Pain. And here's my contact info. My Twitter is Disability Wage Equality. My Instagram is always Downless Events. My Facebook page is Fighting Ableism. And my website is also called Fighting Ableism. And then, like I said, my YouTube is called Live Well with EDF. Do you have any questions?
No questions, but a comment. I like how you had mentioned about the disabled community not wanting anything, any special treatment or anything more, but just wanted to have the same respect and treatment that everyone deserves, just as the same as an able-bodied person. So it's like we don't want anything more or special. We just want to be treated treated equally and treated with love and respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but it's difficult because a lot of people think that like access needs are special treatment. Like even I have been told that my access needs that I am receiving special treatment when a lot of the things that I get are just like accessibility needs. And so it's hard when things that you need to get what everybody else has, which is accessibility, like access to every building, being able to, move freely and without pain. Just getting that is called special treatment. And so it takes a lot of work to explain that to others.
Yeah, and it's that tag special treatment. It's like it's not special. It's what I need. Yeah, I mean, I need to have access to hospitals, doctors' offices, to get transportation. Those are all basic needs. It's not a special need. So
See,
that
and that's why people don't like special needs, is because everybody else has, like access to all doctors' offices and all buildings. But for us, like accessibility even is called like a special need, or, for example, everybody is able-bodied, has the access to shower and get dressed and brush their teeth when they want. But if you need a caretaker, that's considered something like special and extra, but it's getting what everybody else has. You have to get it like a different way. And so it's difficult, like, special needs. I know that that's like kind of an old term, but that sets up people's access needs to be called special. So that's why a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah, it's definitely an ableist label or terminology.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not special. It's it's
Yeah,
necessary.
like it's just our needs. Well, but it also sets up our needs to be called things like high maintenance. Wait. Show me the cat.
Can you see him?
I just see his body.
See
You gotta
Dad's
back
hand
out.
like that.
Oh my gosh.
Look how
Here's
close
Fred.
it is to
cute.
Fred.
That's Fred.